Sonny, that's a good start to the year, an important win against energetic and tricky challengers.
Yeah, it was. It was a really difficult game. Obviously, we know how they're doing. You know, they're doing an unbelievable job. They're working so hard, and yeah, we've been great chances from the start of game, and yeah, get the clean sheet 3-0. I think start the new year with a fantastic.
And your goal, the second goal, that was a great strike. It's your 100th for Tottenham. I'm sure you knew that beforehand, did you?
Yeah, obviously, yes. I couldn't wait for that long, and obviously, I'm very happy and very grateful for the teammates, the staff, everyone who is supporting me, and it's not coming automatically with my alone. Obviously, I need them. I need a lot of help about this big achievement, and I'm really proud. But the most important thing is that we got clean sheet here, and then with the 3 goals.
You say a big achievement. You're the first Spurs player to score 100 goals who's beyond the UK and Ireland. That's quite an elite club.
Oh yeah, this I didn't know that. And yeah, obviously, score 100 goals with the one team is obviously something big things, and I'm very proud and very grateful. What I say, you know, it's a good thing for start new year.
Yes, it is. And the man who helped you, of course, the other half of the deadly duo, Harry Kane. I mean, that partnership, do you work on it, or you just have this telepathic connection, maybe?
No, I think obviously we're working hard, and we're working through a long time. You know, we've been 6 years together. We understand quite really well. I'm a bit sad that I couldn't give assist today to H, but Harry's trying to find always me. So obviously when you could see my goal, as soon as when he turned, he knew it. I was there. So obviously the ball was perfect to me, and yeah, I think it's sometimes it's telepathy, sometimes we're talking about.
Yeah, you two have scored 76% of Spurs' goals in the Premier League. Maybe like Toby today, maybe you need a little bit more help from the others, eh?
Obviously, I really don't mind, and obviously I'm really hopeful that other guys also to score goals. I'm really very happy. But as soon as when we get 3 points, it doesn't matter who scored the goals, who assists. I think it's not important. But yeah, we're working hard for every single time to get 3 points.
And after 4 Premier League games without the win, today brings you back into the pack. It's a pretty unpredictable season, but you're back in the chase now.
Yeah, obviously I think it was very important. We dropped the points, and sometimes with a bit unlucky, a bit of the concentration as well, and last minute set pieces obviously was really painful. But I think start new year, what I say all the time, because it was a first game of new year, and then back to winning ways is a very important. We obviously it's still a long way to go, but it's a great start new year, and we have to.
It looked like a very satisfying afternoon for you. Did the game plan work pretty much perfectly?
Well, the 3 points, of course, are very important. I think by the strategic point of view, we understood well how they could hurt us and how we could hurt them. And in that aspect, of course, I'm happy. I still think that we can and we have to do better.
Obviously, it was a good team performance with the qualifications you've just said, but what a sensational front duo you have, Kane and Sonny. They just work together so well.
Of course, the understanding is good, and against Leeds was important that mobility in attack, because they mark man to man, and if you stay in static positions, you give them an easy job. When you have mobility, it's a bit more difficult for them. So that movement of Harry Kane appearing on the right side and Sonny in the finishing position fit well with our game plan.
Is there a better duo in the Premier League at the moment right now than Kane and Son?
I think in the Premier League there are many good players everywhere, even in clubs where sometimes you don't believe they can have great players. But in this moment in the Premier League are great players in every club. But I have to say that Sonny and Harry, they are doing special things this season.
Special things because they've scored 76% of Spurs Premier League goals this season. It's a nice problem to have, but would you like the team to contribute more to that?
No, of course not. I want I want goals coming from other players. I want players to feel that they can express themselves and appear in finishing areas. Today we had Toby, but of course was in a set play. But we had other players in positions to score. Højbjerg, Ndombele, I saw Bergwijn. We had players from other positions appearing in finishing positions, which is what I want from them.
Everyone's been saying Leeds are a tricky side to take on, but it was very important for you to win this game today and start the year on the front foot after 4 games.
No, when people were saying after we played the considered top 6 teams, people were saying easier matches are coming. Of course, I don't believe in it. Leeds is a team capable to create problems to anyone, and the next one, Aston Villa, is my favorite team in the Premier League at the moment. Is a team that I enjoy more watch. Is a team with lots of very good players, of course, very well coached, and this is what is waiting for us.
And on a bigger picture, there are issues with positive tests as late postponements of fixtures. Some managers are calling for a circuit break, 2 weeks off to try and reset. Where do you stand on this one?
I don't agree with that. I go back to the initial rules of if you have 14 players available, you have to play. And I don't see another reason for not to do it. If I think every club does the best for their players to try to keep them all safe. But then there are moments in private lives that you cannot control, and of course not everybody has to be blamed for that. So I think we have to carry on. We have to carry on, and if somebody has some positives, you have to play.
Thank you, Jose.
Thank you.
When your managers came up against other managers who were being lauded and praised for the way they played, that they took a bit of extra delight in winning the game, the conversations were a bit different beforehand or anything?
Not really. I just think if there was obviously a personal connection between the opposing team, that was more of something you see a difference in the week leading up to a game. I think today, Jose would have been 100% focused on his own team and what he was doing. He wouldn't have been thinking about Bielsa and his team in terms of reputation, etc. I think that I think Jose is very secure in who he is and what he is. And just the point we made before, I think that the key difference today was the balance. I thought that the way that they started the game, they tested it out, they see where they was. Like in a boxing match, just throwing your jab out a little bit, and then when they saw that actually we know where we're at, we've seen what Leeds have got, we can then start committing more men forward. They started to do that gradually, and they managed the game perfectly today. And the key difference to this team as well is Harry Kane and Son. That quality that they have is a separation from many a team. And if they get it right, like they are in terms of stiffness through the middle of the team, and the defence is very stiff at the moment, they look like a team who you've got to do something to get goals against them. And they're not going to be as Spursy as what people have been talking about in years gone by. When you've got them two up front, you've got a chance.
Well, let's have a look at that in just a second. First, we'll show people the penalty. I mean, we've seen it a few times. We've spoken to Peter Walton. We're still struggling a bit with being absolutely clear that it's inside the box, but then to overturn it, VAR would have to be clear that it was an error.
I think that's the point, Jake. I think the penalty was originally given, and for VAR to overturn this penalty incident, it's got to be 100% sure that it's outside of the box. We've had a look at it a couple of times, and we feel it maybe just outside of the box because we look at the contact. Is it on his leg or foot? See, I think it hit his foot first. When I saw that clip there, I feel like the contact was on the foot first, which tells me it was just outside. But it's a really tough one for them to call, and that in terms of that, they have to go with the referee's decision, which in the end resulted in a penalty for Spurs.
Yeah, and Harry Kane, of course, steps up and dispatches the penalty as well. And while we watch him take the penalty, let's talk then about this partnership. They've combined Son and Kane for 13 goals between them this season. That's already a Premier League record, 16 games into the season.
But it just says that 6 years they've been together. Son said in his after-match interview there, the guys have just got that relationship that is just, yes, it's obviously been worked on a little bit, but they obviously enjoy playing it with each other, and what a big factor is, they complement each other. Look, what Son said was interesting in his interview after the game. When Harry turns and gets on the ball, I move. He knows where I am. Look, as soon as he gets on the ball, he's moving a second or two before he even gets his head up, because he knows the quality that number 10 has on his back, that he possesses quality that no one else on that pitch has, and he'll find him.
And you know what? They link up a lot, right? But I would love to see all those goals and just see the repertoire of passing that Harry Kane produces with all those goals, because his passing ability is remarkable. It really is. I mean, as a young player, he always dropped a lot deeper, and people used to say, oh, he's going to be a bit like Teddy Sheringham, the way that he likes to play, and he adapted his game and was able to run by people. As he gets older, he just, what he's turned into and how he keeps maturing and developing his game is remarkable.
We spoke about it off air. He reminds me of seeing him live like this. The more and more I see him, he reminds me of Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Wayne Rooney used to love dropping into pockets, into the number 10 role. He could play high up. He could do everything. And once he got into these areas here, he'd search a pass out, cheeky pass there. And he's just all about creating opportunities to either shoot or create something for somebody else.
Yeah.
And here, coming from deep, awareness of where other players are, standing people up.
He's got that thing, Rio, where, when he's on the ball, everything just seems to calm down around him. He just kind of goes, I've got it. I know what I'm doing. You lot make your runs and I'll find you. And this was the big one, wasn't it, Rio, that you went, oh, I love that. Look how many bodies he's got around him.
We demanded this to be in this run, because there's 3 or 4 bodies around him. He gets out of there. And the guy is persistent as well, but he just creates havoc. And when you get players like this on the ball, things will at some point happen in that 90 minutes, because they've got too much quality for it not to happen. And this pass here, not many players, this is a striker, by the way, playing that ball. Not many players on the pitch could see that pass, let alone play it. His execution.
He's got the most assists now in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, listen, the last striker that was doing that, who was that? Probably Thierry Henry, in terms of goals and assists at that rate. And he's being talked about in that kind of company. He's a fantastic footballer, humble, hard-working, and somebody, again, like, you want him to stay fit for England's sake as well, beyond Spurs.
Let's talk about the title then. I know Spurs fans don't necessarily want to, because they're thinking just let them play football and see how it goes. But we're looking at a Premier League like never before. 7 points separated the top 10 coming into today's matches. Of course it's there for them, isn't it, if they can keep 100%. Those two fit?
Look, it's there for a lot of teams, Jake, let's be honest. It was only kind of a month ago that we were having a go at Man United, and Ollie's job was on the line going into that game against Everton, and he's turned it around to the point where they're joint top of the league. And the situation here at the situation here at Tottenham is the same. It's just the fact that they've had a bit of a blip. Chelsea have had a bit of a blip, and now the question marks up with Frank and Chelsea. Can they come out of it? But this is a team that's capable of doing it, and it's just about finding that rhythm and getting themselves over the line. I still think Liverpool and City are going to be the two teams that will go all the way, but it'll be nice to see if Tottenham can really push them and get that experience.
We spoke before about a little ding dong about how conservative Spurs have been after the first 5 games of the season. If they play like they do today, you want to be here playing. In my eyes, if you play negative football and you don't win, you don't want to be somewhere. But if you win and play negative football, I get the argument, I get what we were saying before. If it's not good football but you're winning trophies, you can suffer that. You handle that all day long. I've played in teams where you didn't play well in cup finals, didn't play good football at all, but you win, you get the trophy, you're happy. But you've got to win when you play like that.
And they are winning. I mean, they're only 2 wins in the League Cup away from lifting that trophy.
Yeah, it's huge week ahead. And we know when Jose goes to club, it's a trophy he likes to get in the cabinet early. It kind of shuts down the whole conversation of, he's not won anything at that football club. And especially here at Tottenham, he knows, it was since I was here, the last time they won anything. And that is too long for this group of players that have been here. And, I'm confident that, they'll get to a final. It's just whether they can cross that line. So, big week ahead, and it's been started obviously with a top performance, and to see them getting back to playing the way that they played today is really important as well.
I think that's a huge point. The win's fantastic, it's great, but the performance, I'm sure, will be as pleasing for Jose, because that's what's been lacking sometimes. I think the Wolves game for me, when I watched that game, I was sitting there thinking it was so disappointing to be a Spurs fan. You'd be sitting there going, is this going to be the story of our season? But the way he's quickly turned that around.
That was 6 shots on goal that day, 20 today.
That's a huge difference. Yeah. And again, the winning the ball higher, pressing a little bit higher. And what that means is that you're pressing the ball higher. And what does that do? That means that you're talking about winning the ball and having the 2 most dangerous players on the pitch closer to goal when you get it. It's got to be right.
Yeah. And he's totally right. been a really good season for Leeds so far. And let's keep this in perspective. 64% possession today, 18 shots to Spurs 20. Was it just a case of quality?
Yes, a case of quality, but I think we just got to be a bit realistic as well where they are. They're a team just newly promoted. They've just come up and they're sitting in 11th position. And the question I said before, we went to break earlier, will they stay up? I believe they will. I think the way that they're playing, they're an entertaining team to watch. I think there's a lot of learnings. I think his interview there was spot on. A lot of them are still learning what it's like to be a Premier League player in a Premier League team now. So they're new to this, and it can be difficult. And what makes it even harder for these players is that, yes, they're new to it, but also they're being asked to play 1v1 all over the park, and then you can't make mistakes. You make a mistake, it's highlighted, it's glaring, and it inevitably ends in chances and then goals.
And they've lost possession more than any other team in the league this season.
Yeah, I have to say, I thought they were poor today. I think there were elements where Spurs schooled them a little bit and kind of had that experience over them, and that cost them. But there were other elements that I think, were simple elements in the game where they just seemed to be very sloppy in vital moments, giving the ball away in ridiculous positions of the pitch, which I haven't seen too much of with Leeds. I know they put the ball at risk and they're prepared to take the ball on in very tough and dangerous areas, but things like that against teams like Tottenham, you don't survive those moments in the Premier League, giving the ball away that high up at in the pitch in the Premier League. And it was just time and time again. So look, it was a one-off, I think. They've had a fantastic season so far, and they're going to be 100% fine. They're a great team to watch. It's just a poor display. It happens.
But today was, I think, a big example of how they play. They risk everything when they play. They've given the ball away more than any team in the league this season. But at times, it works for them, and they get goals, and they're very enjoyable to watch. I love it.
They remain a welcome addition to the Premier League. And welcome back for a brand new year on BT Sport. Looking forward to it, aren't we? So much football coming your way in 2021, including another game this evening, West Brom up against Arsenal from 7:30 tonight. But right now, we are going to leave you in the secure hands of the BT Sport score team. They'll take you through all the action this afternoon. Thanks very much for joining us. And once again, from all of us here in North London, Happy New Year.